The leather soles go shuffling in, stinking of smoke and 10-cent gin. Now who will toast our noble host who has this morning given up the ghost? The wooden coffer, hand to hand, kind words are offered, silent prayers, but she is satisfied the most while stabbing madly at the roast. The riverbed of the eyes of Eve, the sons of Cain receive no reprieve. The riverbed of the eyes of Eve, the sons of Cain receive no reprieve.
So, to pick up where we left off in a brief little recap.
Welcome back to Blood, Sweat, and Tears. Sometime before the doors open, the party decides to rest up a little. Ethaniel is first to wake up, and when he awakes, he is finally met with Alistar, to which everyone else awakes and also sees him. Alistar begins to explain to the party that while he understands that they may not be on the best of terms with him, he still wants them to succeed, for a win for them is a win for him. After a brief conversation with Alistar, he goes away, and the party talks amongst themselves. The door then opens, and when the party enters the arena, the crowd starts to cheer. After Frauda gets the crowd excited, the battle begins, and the party fights. For the first round, they went up against giant brain creatures with legs. For the second round, they went up against panthers with 6 legs and spikes on its tail. And for the final round, they went up against a corpse of Monty, only now being used as a puppet. Moriko, upon seeing them win each round, drops down to the arena in anger. And before he could do anything, he begins to choke. To which Alistar reveals that he had poisoned the wine Moriko was drinking. Alistar then turns to Nashun and hands him a dagger, telling him that Nashun can now choose who to kill, and stands next to Moriko. After some deep contemplation, Nashun walks up to Alistar and stabs him.
Nashun plunges the knife into Alistar, and for just a second it hurts. Just a second. Alistar opens his eyes in shock, and he lets out a gasp as he falls to his knees at the hands of his own dagger. Moriko begins to laugh furiously. The audience collectively loses their minds, and Alistar looks at you almost betrayed, but he's overdone by Moriko's laughter, and he becomes enraged. So enraged, he abandons his form as the old man, and you see his true form. It's a mass of tentacles and brains and mouths, and it's the most disgusting thing you have ever seen. And it charges at Moriko with a scream and begins to eviscerate him. And Moriko screams and he screams, and you all hear your ears ringing. And the last thing you see before your vision goes white is Alistar looking at you in his true form and screaming, Nashun! and it all goes to white, and you wake up in the ritual room and a wind has consumed it. It swirls around and around and around and around and around, and the key floats out of the cauldron. And Nishun, you feel this thing in your brain desperately trying to leave. The worm exits through your mouth and is suspended in the air as you all watch as the room continues to swirl and swirl and swirl until the worm explodes into blood and floats down into the key where it closes itself. Nishun is now free of the mind flare.
And in a blink of an eye, they reawaken at the ritual room. They had returned home.
Hey, this is Guitar Bard from Blood, Sweat, and Tears. I have some images I drew from memory on some of the events that happened on our journey. Now, it has been some time since these events happened, so these images may or may not be accurate. Nonetheless, I hope you enjoy it. Before we fought Monty, Morgo tried convincing me to return to my home world by showing me that Hamus is no longer in this world, but rather attacking the other bards. But I chose to stay with the party to help them rid this world of the greater evil.